We now have a much clearer picture of the evidence prosecutors say that they have collected against Charlie Kirk's accused assassin. Prosecutors laid out a 10-page summary of the charges and evidence they say they have against Tyler James Robinson, a 22-year-old man from southern Utah. The document has quite a bit of detail laying out how prosecutors allege Robinson carried out the shooting, hid evidence, spoke to his roommate about why he did it before eventually turning himself in. In the minutes, hours, even days after Charlie Kirk was shot and killed on the campus of Utah Valley University on Wednesday, September 10th, there was a lot of confusion around how police found Tyler Robinson. What the public knew shortly after it was announced Robinson was taken into custody was that there was a 33-hour manhunt. But what we now know, according to prosecutors, is that catching him really came down to Robinson's mother and father. According to Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray, Robinson's mother saw the photo that police released of a person of interest, and she thought it looked an awful lot like her son.
Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at home homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed.
According to Gray, that's when Robinson's father gets involved, concerned that the gun police had described as a bolt-action high-powered rifle may have been the gun Robinson had been given as a gift.
As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life.
And this sets off a series of events, according to prosecutors, where the parents brokered their son's surrender. They start by agreeing to get Robinson to come to the family home in Washington City, Utah, which is about 3.5 hours south of the UVU campus where the shooting happened.
As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate.
And that's when prosecutors say the parents convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who was a retired deputy sheriff. Together, they persuaded Robinson to turn himself in, and the family friend notified police they had the suspected shooter.
The friend also asked Robinson if he had any clothes that were related to what he did. Robinson replied that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas.
After Robinson surrendered, prosecutors say the family kept talking to police.
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate.
What prosecutors laid out next was evidence they say they have against Robinson, a key piece of it being a text message exchange of the shooting, in his own words, with his roommate and romantic partner, a copy of which was handed over to police.
On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
Gray says the following text exchange took place.
After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in OREM for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry." Roommate, "I thought they caught the person."
Authorities have not charged the roommate with any crime, would not say if they had any prior knowledge of the shooting, but added they're cooperating with authorities as the one who provided the text message exchange. Here's Gray reading more of the messages.
Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering.
The roommate then asks the one question almost everyone has been asking.
Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe.
In the next part of the exchange, Robinson is accused of talking about trying to retrieve the rifle and infers he's beginning to realize the police net around him might be closing in.
Robinson again, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel.
One of the charges Robinson faces is witness tampering, which comes from this next part of the alleged text message.
Robinson again, delete this exchange. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent.
That alleged text exchange opens a window into Robinson's possible mindset, but is this a legal confession? For those that aren't of a legal mind, is this a confession, the text messages? Is that legally a confession?
Ultimately, a judge will determine that.
Gray says DNA consistent with Robinson was tested and found on the trigger of the recovered rifle. UVU surveillance captured the immediate aftermath as Gray described how Robinson slipped past police and was able to make it back to southern Utah undetected.
The suspected shooting position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the suspected location, a person must climb over a railing and then drop to the roof only slightly below.
After the shooting, a UVU officer approached the suspected shooting position and noticed markings in the gravel rooftop.
Consistent with a sniper having lain on the roof, impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position.
Authorities did an intensive review of all of UVU's surveillance footage.
Immediately after the shot was fired, a camera captures the suspect running across the roof carrying an item whose shape is consistent with a rifle. The suspect is then seen climbing down from the roof. He appears to drop the item he was carrying as he hits the ground in a controlled fall. He then picks up the item and runs toward the northeast end of campus.
That's when investigators believe Robinson entered a wooded area and left a rifle and 3 unspent rounds, and it's here police lost track of his movements.
Over the next approximately 33 hours, police conducted a manhunt for the shooter until the evening of September 11th, 2025, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at the Washington County Sheriff's Office.
Gray would not say if Robinson is cooperating since he turned himself in, but he made it clear after filing 7 charges against Robinson what his role is as the top prosecutor in this case.
I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously.
Gray officially charged Robinson with aggravated murder, which is a capital offense, discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, obstruction of justice for moving and concealing the rifle and disposing of the clothing he wore during the shooting, witness tampering for directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages, and asking him to stay silent if police questioned him, and commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime.
Did you consult Erica Kirk about seeking the death penalty?
I'm not going to comment on that.
3 hours after the charges were filed, Robinson had his first court appearance.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Judge Tony Graff Jr., who was appointed to the 4th District Court in May of 2025, read into the record the charges Robinson is now facing, the most serious being aggravated murder with a capital enhancement of targeting a political victim.
Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression.
During the virtual hearing, Robinson sat in a Utah County jail cell wearing a suicide vest. Body language expert Scott Rouse watched the hearing and says Robinson did not show the normal signs of fear or stress, looking calm, almost bored.
And they don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how to act during that. And this guy just looks relaxed.
Rouse says it was what Robinson didn't do that stood out. No heavy breathing, no restless movements, just a relaxed demeanor in a moment where most people would be on edge.
When I look at things like this, I look for the things that are missing, and those are all the things that are missing right out of the gate. And this is odd behavior for someone who theoretically should be fairly stressed at this point.
Judge Graff declared Robinson indigent, which means he can't afford his own private defense counsel and will need to be assigned a public defender. And then the judge set the next court date for later in September. Because prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, Robinson will stay in jail without bail. Given that, the judge still granted a pretrial protective order for Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow. And now that Robinson has officially been charged, this sets the stage for the beginning of what is most likely a legal process that will play out over years, one of which we will follow every step of the way. Thanks for watching this YouTube original. I'm Jim Spiewak.